here's an example of a substantival infinitive used as the object of another verb. In Philippians 2:6, when Paul's talking about Jesus and his attitude toward his life of service and his sacrificial death, he said that Jesus did not count to be one with God a thing to be grasped. Now that whole phrase there, to be one with God, is a definite article and an infinitive, and then isateo, one with God. So it's serving as the object of this this verb here, where Jesus is said to not to have accounted that as something that he needed to grasp. Or the old King James said they thought it not robbery. Okay? So again, that's an example of how an infinitive can serve as the object of the sentence which already contains your verb. There are a number of adverbial uses. Let's take a look at them. The categories are as follows, and you see that on the right-hand column of page 28 at the bottom. Purpose, result, time, cause, and means. We'll look at one example for each of these. Remember, an adverbial use it's relating to another verb. There's in some way modifying or helping us to understand the meaning of and the use of another verb which is in the sentence, which is normally going to be a regular verb.
So like helping us to understand. Helping to understand.
Yeah.
In some of these examples, I'm not going to give you the entire clause that's big enough for you to see the whole verb and everything. Just the infinitive phrase. And here's an example. In Romans 12:2, you recall Paul encouraging us to not to be conformed to this world, but to present our bodies as living sacrifices. And he says to do this so that you may test what God's will is. Or one version says prove, and that's this word dokimazo, the verb dokimazo. Well, in this case, that phrase, so that you may test, is eis ta plus an infinitive. Most of the time when you encounter eis ta, which is preposition and then the definite article, plus an infinitive, it's going to be an infinitive of purpose. There's going to be, in most of these, there's going to be some kind of other word, which is your clue word, that this is how the infinitive is being used. And in this case, it's the eis and ta. Result is hard to distinguish sometimes from purpose, but here's an example of an infinitive being used as the result of the action in the main verb. 1 Thessalonians 1:8 says, so that we do not have need to say anything. Okay? The result of the previous action, previous verb, not mentioned, is so that, and then this word echo, the verb echo is to have, and then to cry on his need. And it negates with the may. But the clue that you're dealing with an infinitive of result here is that hosta. So that.
There's two there. There's two infinitives there.
That's true.
Oh, they am. Okay.
And infinitive being used as an adverbial of time is Matthew 26:32, an example of that. Egerthenai, infinitive, in this case, talking about being raised up. And Jesus is talking about what's going to happen after he's raised up. And again, the clue, the automatic clue there is this meta. When you have one of these time-related prepositions, then you're probably dealing with an infinitive, and then an infinitive that follows it. You're probably dealing with an infinitive of time.
I have a question. You said when we were doing infinitives, at the very beginning, it is not limited by person or number.